shameless. I see the aimless, I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great.
What is going on, guys, and welcome to the One Pride Podcast. We talk all things Detroit Lions news and rumors, and we got a good one for you folks today. Soon, Ant-Man will get on. He's doing his own show on his own channel right now, but when he's done with that, he's going to jump on, and we're going to talk our beloved Detroit Lions. And we got a good one, man. We definitely do. Got a little couple things headed up. We're going to talk about the injury report in a minute. Why? Because the injury report came in a little bit early due to the fact that the Detroit Lions are playing on Saturday, not on Sunday. And I think, you know, that's going to be interesting. It's definitely not going to be on the normal time that we, or in the normal day that we do, but the same time. Everybody, I want to welcome, we got Grandizer, Vash Starwin, Michael Kanowski, John Ball, Jamie Ward, Tone Loki, Lion Rumble, Vash Starwin, Alan Dana, Keith Jackson, Jonathan Anton, all to the show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be definitely fun. I do got to do a quick little thing here and add some stuff to the channel. But once we get that, we'll be good to go. And I'm doing that literally right now. Why? Because I got to do it, and I forgot to do it before we started because it's been absolutely insane busy. But that's what we got to do here. Detroit Lions versus the Carolina Panthers. Big matchup here. Both teams trying to make the playoffs. Very important that we get in there and secure this W. And they have a lot of players on that team that can get it done. They do got some players that are good. They do got some players that can be feisty, specifically on defense. I think that's where, when you look at the Detroit Lions, that's where they're going to be at, is a lot of defensive players that's going to be feisty. Now, I do not believe they're the same strength right now as the team that we faced up in the New York Jets, but they're still a good football team nonetheless. And we're going to go over those players. We're going to go over everything regarding these guys and give you, my 2 cents on this and break it all down for you folks. We're definitely going to do that. But before we do that, I got to give a shout out to the sponsor of this video. That's Rocket Money. What is Rocket Money? Well, what is it does? It's an app that you can be able to look at your subscriptions and see what do you have that you want to get rid of. And I think that's really important because for me personally, when I got Rocket Money, I noticed that I had multiple apps on there. Of course, you got your Netflix, the Hulus, your Showtimes and you like that, but I'm a fan that didn't really like HBO Max because my daughter got it. And so what did it do? It went there and it shows the subscriptions, and I was able to cancel the apps that I didn't want, i.e. HBO Max. Rocket Money can even find subscriptions you didn't know you're paying for. You may even find out, now this didn't happen to me, thank God, because I think I'm mad, that you're getting double charge, which is absolutely brutal. To cancel subscription, all I got to do is press cancel, and Rocket Money takes care of the rest for you. So get rid of these useless subscriptions. Go ahead and get Rocket Money right now. And if you go to rocketmoney.com/Lions Talk, you'll be able to save a little bit of money, support the sponsor by supporting this channel, and it helps out a little bit. So if you want to save some money, saves hundreds a year, go to rocketmoney.com/Lions Talk. Let's get into the injury report real quick. I think that's obviously really important for our Detroit Lions to see, who is in and who is out. We do got some interesting players that are potentially that are out. And right now we got KO'd Awasika. he's not going to be played in this game. He has been ruled out. He's been out for a couple of weeks now. He was playing right guard for the Detroit Lions. Will not be in there. Jason Kabinda out. He's been having a rough season, injured for sure. Deshaun Elliott, I think we all knew he was going to be out in this game. Deshaun Elliott will not be playing in this game. Frank Ragnow is questionable. He is questionable to play. Now, my assessment when I see this is he will play in this game, but he is officially questionable, and I guess it's a shorter game for sure for our Lions, and, that does have an effect. I'm not too worried, though. I am really not. Now, obviously, the Deshaun Elliott one is probably the biggest name on here, and that does do a effect for the Detroit Lions, but I think the Lions will be okay with that in the building for this game on Saturday. I still think no matter what, the Lions are okay from an injury standpoint and from a talent perspective against the Carolina Panthers. Now, they have some injuries, but they all look to be playing. Horn will be playing in this game. He's been practicing, so expect that. And it's actually going to be a little bit colder for the Detroit Lions. You think Carolina, you think warm, but it's not. Obviously, we have that cold front that's coming from Canada that's absolutely brutal right now, and it's freaking cold. So I think we'll be okay in there. I see people doing some trash talk. That's fine. And as soon as my guy Ant-Man gets in here, we'll talk to him about what he thinks. So let's get in a little bit before we get to the Q&A and before you guys run the show, a little bit understanding of what the Carolina Panthers are bringing here, or what we are going to be facing for the Carolina Panthers. Now, their offensive line is ranked between 20 and 24. So I gave it between, 22 and a half, even though you can't do half. But their offensive line is bottom third in the NFL per PFF and other sites that I looked at to give them, what are we going to be going up against. And they got some decent players there, but they're not really that good. And I think our defensive line, Aidan Hutchinson, Romeo Okwara, Lee McNeil, Bugs, all these guys are going to be able to penetrate that offensive line and give Sam Darnold some problems. I think we'll be able to get to him. Now, the Detroit Lions in the past about a month and a half is the number one defense stopping the run. You heard that right. The number one defense stopping the run. And for Carolina to get their offense going, what do they need to do? They need to run the football. So you're looking at an offensive line that's not that good, and you're looking at a defensive line as the Detroit Lions that the past month is number one stopping the run. So I think it's a great fixture for the Lions on defense to really stop pretty much the momentum that they have running the football. They do got a good wide receiver in DJ Moore. Now, he's their number one guy. So expect when they do play action to go after DJ Moore, and I expect Jeffrey Okudah to be manning him. He's a 6-foot wide receiver, 210 pounds. He's got 5 years experience. Last week, he had 5 receptions for 73 yards. Not that good, but he's their number one guy. He's the guy that the Lions are going to be focusing quite a bit on. So expect the Lions to go after Moore a little bit and try to get that running game going. Now, it's a little bit different defensively for the Carolina Panthers. Their defense is the strongest part of their football team. That's why they're still in it for their division right now, and also given the fact that their division is really not that good. But got the players like Brian Burns, 10.5 sacks. The Lions' offensive line's going to have to account for what he brings on that defensive line. He is their main sack master. Very good. They got Frank Iluvu with 6 sacks and Marquise Haynes with 4 sacks in there. Damian Wilson with 2. And Yuta Gross-Matos, a little bit shocked with only 1.5 sacks there. Their defensive ranking is 15 points allowed, 16 yards per game, passing 14th. And again, like I said earlier, their rushing defense is 22. So the Lions offense is going against a good defense, but they're not the Jets. They're not the Jets. The Jets were top 5 on all statistics, and we were able to still go up and down on these guys. So I do believe the Detroit Lions will be able to do the same again. I do. And I think the Lions will be able to get theirs. Let me know in the comment section, how many points do you think the Detroit Lions offense will be able to score on the Carolina Panther defense? I'm not saying final score. Maybe the Lions get a pick six, or like we had last week, a special teams touchdown. Just strictly offense. How many points do you think the Lions offense will be able to get on them? I'm going 27 points. I'm going to give all the points to the offense. I don't know if I don't believe they'll get a pick six or anything like that. Why? Because Sam Darnold has 3 touchdowns, 0 receptions. Yes, they're -2 in the turnover differential, but it hasn't resulted in touchdowns. So we got 24-27 between 28 and 30 by my guys John Ball, Mofo Jimbo, and Jonathan Anton and Lions Kool-Aid. 24. We got 40+ Vash Darwin. He's smoking. He's loving it. We got 34 B-Love in the building there. So a lot of love for the Detroit Lions offense. Lions 28, Panthers 21. We got 34-19 Detroit with a butt whooping. I see you in the comment section. I like it. Let's see. Will this work? I don't even know. There we go. Yes, it does work. 34. Hey, man, stay safe with the winter. Yeah. If you're in the Michigan area, we got a big storm coming, so make sure you guys stay safe. That has nothing to do with, obviously football right now, but stay safe. We need this. Dubrisky, 30 points. Lions, 27-20. Tim Monroe, 31-28, 33-13. Lions, weather, no effing good. Yeah, it's going to be a little cold. Love the videos, Micro Mike. Jeffrey Jefferson, thank you so much. Thank you. I truly do appreciate the kind words. And I'm just waiting for my guy Ant-Man to get on here so we can discuss some Detroit Lions football as well. Get in there and have fun for when he gets into the comment section, and we can talk. Lions offense is scoring on all fronts, as we know. Points per game, we're 6th in the NFL. The total yards per game, we're 4th in the NFL. Passing yards, 8th in the NFL. And rushing, 13th in the NFL. +2 turnover differential. That is 6th best in the NFL. So Lions are killing it on offense. Lions defense has been basically top half in all categories the last 7 weeks. So the Lions team is becoming... Love the graphics, Mikes. We got to find a way to win. Thank you so much, my guy, Raw Detroit. Make sure you subscribe to my good friend, Raw Detroit. That is TA. He brings fantastic content, a lot of content regarding prospects. I would suggest he's the best one up there with my friend Tom Downey and Broshmo as well. Why? TA played at a high level in college, and that's what he does, is he scouts. He's the best up there. With those other 2 guys, I would throw in there as well, as individuals to look at via scouting. I know our offense can handle Carolina, hopefully. I do believe so. To me, and I don't want to poo-poo Carolina Panthers fans that come in here. No disrespect at all. I do believe the Detroit Lions will be able to win this game fairly easy. And what I mean by fairly easy is I'm not worried in the 4th quarter. A lot of times we've seen throughout our Lions tenure is we're having that cardiac cath type of game. And when you have a cardiac cath type of game, you're worried at the end. I don't believe that's the case. I think the Lions do win the game 27-17, 10-point game. Right now, the over and under's at 44 points. I think I'll take the over on that one. I'd have to look at it. But I would definitely have the Lions to get more than -3, as they're the favorite right now. Unless the number changed before I went online. But that's what it is right now. 100%. Let's see here. Let me get a couple questions there. Which NFC North team do you run it back with the most in the playoffs? Which NFC team do you want to run it back with? I would like to go against, if I'm in the playoffs, I'd like to go against the Minnesota Vikings. I think it's going to be tough going against San Francisco 49ers. Very difficult team out there to play against. They're very good. San Francisco is a team I wouldn't want to face right now, in all honesty, and I'm just going to be very honest. They just are that team. Again, let's do the injury report. A lot of new people came in here. Okudah Owasika is out. Jasa Kabinda is out. Deshaun Elliott, starting safety for the Lions, is out. I think we all figured that. Derek Barnes questionable, so he moved up a little bit compared to what has been the last couple of weeks. And Frank Ragnow is questionable, and I do believe the Detroit Lions, again, they will have Frank Ragnow. That is my initial thought here, so not too worried on that one in all honesty. Let's see here. Detroit, do we get over 150 yards? Well, I think that is going to be a little bit difficult in a run over. I think it's probably around 130 because that's what the defense is giving up for the Carolina Panthers. I say $130. Could get to $150. Little difficult there for sure. Let's see here. Wow, Fields get weapons. He's going to be a problem in the NFC North. That is a fact. I support your channel all the time, and you never read my stuff. Boris, you got to put a hashtag in there. Put a hashtag. Hashtag. And anybody else, I'm not trying to ignore you on purpose. I have a queue, and my queue pops up, and how I see questions is a hashtag in front of it. They're coming through quite a bit. Remember, there's 141 right now in the building, and my queue goes dut, 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 dut. So it's not being I'm being a prick. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm really not trying to be that way. It's simply for the lack of hashtag. So, Born, make sure you come on and put hashtag. And it's hard for me to do comments and videos to respond because I literally can get 200 comments in a video. In a single video, that's very difficult. That's why I do the One Pride podcast. It's why I do this for you, is so I'm able to communicate back and forth with the subscribers. I'm going to be 100% frank with you guys. I don't get much revenue on OPP. It's actually my worst viewed content. If you look at my videos, I can get 5,000 to 20,000 views. When I do a show, it's 2,000 to 4,000. It's the worst that I get, but I do this because I love talking to you guys. That's the whole point, is having you guys on here, and I'm able to give back because you guys comment and watch my videos. I want to be able to do the same back to you, and it's really difficult on comments on videos when it's like, it's a ton, so it's really, really difficult. That's why you see channels, you don't see a lot of responding to it when they're bigger channels, because that's what they get. What happened to Pascal? The dude fell off a cliff. I think he's predominantly doing a lot of the work that you're not seeing necessarily, stuffing the run, the tackles. He's not a guy who's going to get all those sacks. He's not the pressure type of guy. That's what he brings, is more to help out the Aleem McNeil. Yeah, he's not a defensive tackle, but he's more of a hybrid player. So you're not going to see his stats blow up, but if you notice, the Lions are doing great stopping the run, and he's a part of that. That's what he's a part of. So he's not going to get all the glorious stats. Hashtag, yes, Mike is awesome. Yes, sir. Thank you. Says, Mofos, I appreciate you. Absolutely. Says, been following Mike for 5 years, maybe more. Mike has never been a turd. Mike always been ultra combo. Hey, that's right. Ultra combo! Yeah, that's what I figured, Maloney. I didn't even have to read it to see it. I figured that. Why is that? Because he's been injured all year and still been playing. He's Frank the Tank. So that's kind of what I expected. Let's see here. Get 2 touchdowns? You know what? I'll say yes to that. I say yes. He gets 2 touchdowns. He didn't get any in this last game. And the Jets' defensive line is really, really, like, their whole defense is really good, top 5. I think the Lions are going to give them the ball, and he'll get some touchdowns in this game. And that would be fantastic. That would be absolutely fantastic. Let's see here. Final score. Or let me do a hashtag here. Let me do a hashtag from my guy here, Eric Poster. Looks like we are most likely to play the 49ers first game if we can win that one against the Super Bowl. Cross the fingers. Actually, right now we're slated, Eric, with the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings are the number 2 seed currently. The Lions are number 9, but if we get number 2 and if we get number 7 and Vikings are number 2, we face the Minnesota Vikings at Minnesota. If we are sitting at the 7 seed and the San Francisco 49ers move up to number 2, then we face them. And I really don't believe we have a chance to get number 6 seed. I absolutely do not believe that's the case. Will Jalen Carter, Jared Carter has to be If we have an opportunity to get Jalen Carter, you do it. I think Jalen Carter would be he would bring a dominance to this football team, the likes that we haven't seen since Ndamukong Suh. He would bring a dominance to this team like Aaron Donald. This guy is a bona fide blue chip prospect, interior of the defensive line. I've been talking about this guy even before college season started. This is the guy who I would take. He is my number one prospect on the board. If you would like to finish this defensive line, if you would like to put the fear of God into Karen Rodgers, if you would like to stop these mobile quarterbacks for killing us, you get Jalen Carter. He sets that middle, he anchors it. He'll get pressure up the middle, and then those edges, like an Aidan Hutchinson, like a Romeo Okwara, will smash the quarterback. Jalen Carter is the pick. If you have an opportunity to get him, whether you're sitting at 2 or 3, you get him. He is the man. He may go number 2 overall. He just may. And that's why I am watching this Bears and Broncos game coming up. That's why I'm watching the Rams and Broncos game coming up. It's why I'm watching the rest of the Bears games, because he is such an impact player. We haven't had an impact player like this since Ndamukong Suh. And imagine you take a Jalen Carter and you throw him on with the players we have in Pascal. And I assume they'll bring Bugs back. I'm going to assume that. Aleem McNeil. Who knows what goes with Levi? I have my doubts, but who knows? This team will be scary as hell. You love the offensive line of the Detroit Lions. Why? Because it's a killer, kick-ass offensive line with multiple players who should be in the Pro Bowl. A lot of them, right? Because they're that damn good. You put him in there, you have now made the defensive line an elite defensive line. Top 5 defensive line in football. Now, you're putting the fear of God in people. That's what Jalen Carter will bring. He is the man. I'm telling you right now, this guy is the man. I want him, and I want him freaking right now. This is this prospect. You can go even look at Raw Detroit. I was talking about him. I said, make a video. He made a video, and he looked at the tape, and he said, my God, this guy is a dog. He is the dog. He is the alpha in this draft. Watch this game between Georgia and Ohio, and watch the dominance that he is going to bring upon them. CJ Stroud's about to get his ass whooped by Jalen Carter. Hashtag FGB. Think J-Mo is going to have a bigger role this week? Yeah, I think he will. I think he will have a bigger role in this game. Absolutely, because he's slowly getting implemented into the offense. And you'll hear it for Herman Moore. That's how they're bringing him in. Slowly but surely implement into this offense to get acclimated to game speed on a full. Remember, he didn't have training camp to get into football shape. These guys, like the Aidan Hutchinsons and every other player on this football team, they went through a brutal training camp. You have to get into football shape, so they're slowly bringing him along. They're doing that to all the players that were injured, and that's what it is. So I have no problem with that. And plus, he's got to learn the offense as well. If I miss your question, do not kill me. Repost it. We'll get it in there. Do you think DeAndre Swift will have a big day, or do the Panthers have a good run defense? I think you have an all right day. They have not the best run defense in the NFL. They truly don't. Panthers' run defense is 22nd in the NFL. They allow 130.7 yards rush defense. I think DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams will get theirs, and Justin Jackson, by the way. I truly do. That is actually the weakest point of their team, is their run defense. They're better in pass defense. So I can see the Lions running quite a bit in this game. Let's see. Every player on the offensive line made the Pro Bowl as an alternate besides Frank. Yeah, and I wish they all should have made the Pro Bowl. I wish they all should have made the Pro Bowl. Penei Sewell should have made the Pro Bowl. I think, Penei Sewell and Frank Ragnow, Taylor Decker, fifth alternate, which if you've seen his Twitter feed, it was hilarious. He thought that was funny. Would you trade our first and LA's first to move up and get Carter? I'm not going to do that because we do need help on other part of this team. And to give up another first-round pick to move up one spot is too much for me. is too much for me. When you know you can get a player like potentially a Keely Ringo or Joey Porter Jr. or Campbell, linebacker, that I'm not going to give up that. That's just a little too much for me. I do trust Brad Holmes to find some good players, but I just want that bona fide stud. I want that guy who's a god. That's what I want here. Just in case I'm not around Saturday, Merry Christmas, Mike, and have your kids shovel you out. Yeah, have a Merry Christmas, folks. We'll see how it goes. We got a big storm coming here to West Michigan. I don't know what the weather's going to be like. I should be streaming the game, no doubt, but maybe the power goes out. I don't know. So if I'm not streaming it, it's not because I didn't want to. It's because the power went out. We tend to have that over here in the West Coast. Let's see here. Oh, man. I got to get my thing going. Where is this thing? I got to get this thing going. Is the Ant-Man's never coming in? He has not come in yet. Okay. Just making sure. C, going to be a cold week. Should be hesitant to start anyone in fantasy due to the weather. Well, you got to start somebody. It's not going to be snowing in North Carolina. It's to be cold. Do you think the Lions will draft Stroud at 4 if Carter and Anderson's not available? I don't believe so. I don't believe Stroud is the 4th best prospect in this year's draft. If we lose Will Anderson, Jalen Carter, I'm looking at Murphy right there, edge. That's probably what I would go. I have him a higher prospect. I'm a little bit low on C.J. Stroud. Not that high on him. If you're going to go quarterback, right now I think Bryce Young is it, and there's everybody else. I think you can find some decent talent in the middle to later rounds. Don't need to jump on him, I just don't think so. I think you can build around this defense. Lions, I know, sound crazy, but do you think the Super Bowl could be a possibility? Anything's possible. Am I going to say this? Absolutely not. It's one game at a time here. At least just try to get to the playoffs first as a wild card. But we've seen it before in 2007. We've seen it where teams come out of nowhere. They make a run and get to the Super Bowl. We've seen it with the Cincinnati Bengals last year. So anything can happen. Anything can happen. So it is what it is, but I'm not going to sit there and say, hey, we're going to the Super Bowl and, we beat the curse of Bobby Lane and all that stuff. Not going to do that. Gotta do one step at a time here. I know it sounds crazy, but I already did that one. Let's see. Just in case I'm afraid. Let's see. Any more questions? Put in the comment section. Hashtag. Would you rate Dennis as a bust for fantasy season? I don't have DeAndre Swift on my fantasy team. I don't know exactly the amount of points he put up, but from what I've seen, I would say a disappointment. But we all kind of knew that the guy he's shown injuries, and we knew that we're a team that likes to go by committee. That's something that we've known. Let's see. I pray the LA Rams lose these next 3 games. Oh, I'm with you. They got to lose, man. Come on, man. We need it. We need them to lose. Do you think the Vikings line is comparable to the Eagles? Not yet. No, not yet. It could be in the next couple years, though. There could be. It looks like there's a changing of the guard in the NFC North, and that could be something going forward, but not right now. Hashtag smashed a hole. Who do you think pick up in free agency this offseason? Who are the Lions looking for at most? I like to look for some defensive help. You don't have to go crazy and spending money, but at least get 1 or 2 guys that could really help this defense out. Go corner, linebacker, tackle, defensive tackle, that is. I could see that. 100%. There's guys who I like, and I've talked about them before. Daron Payne, Roquan Smith. These are the type of guys I personally like. I'd love to have a linebacker in there. It's just absolute stud. I'd love to have another enforcer in the interior. I want to have a defense that's comparable to the San Francisco 49ers defense right now, and they have a plethora of blue-chip players that just get after it. That's what I'd like. Maybe re-sign Deshaun Elliott. I'd like to re-sign some of our own players too. That's shown that they have done a good job. I think that could be something we do. Do you see the Lions drafting a running back? I could see it, Paul, 100%. We got 2 second-round picks and 2 first-round picks. I could see one of these second-round picks being a running back, 100%. I mean, when you got DeAndre Swift who's having issues, staying healthy, yeah, 100%. What is the weather looking like Carolina on Christmas? I heard it's just cold, Lions Mania. That's all I know. If anyone else got an update, you can let me know. But last I heard, it's just going to be cold. That's it. I didn't think there's going to be some storm or anything. Hashtag FGB, but man, I drink, says Mike, what do you think Goff will get offensive line for Christmas since he said it was more expensive than his fiance? Ooh. How about, I don't know, maybe some new trucks? A couple trucks. He's got the money to buy a couple trucks, some Ford trucks, something like that. I could see him doing that. He's got money. He could do that. If it's going to be that expensive, got to do it. Pay Amon-Ra. We will in a couple years. Remember, this is his sophomore year. So, you don't have to wait right now, but when he does got to get paid, he will. What are you more looking forward to, the playoffs or shutting up Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay, considering he just made the snarky comments and we remind him of his reaction to 3? He's an idiot, man. Look, Aaron Rodgers cries all the time and thinks he's all that. He's looking towards the Detroit Lions when he needs to be looking towards the Miami Dolphins. Stop focusing on us, dog. Focus on the Miami Dolphins. You got to go against Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Tua Tagovailoa. You're going against a high-powered offense. Why are you focusing on us? We're not focusing on you yet, Karen. We're not. We're focused on the Carolina Panthers. Get your panties out of a bunch, Karen. How about you go ahead and get a flu shot, young punk? Ain't no one care about you. Your team has fallen off. You beat a lowly Rams team. Now you got to go against the Miami Dolphins. They're not a low scrub team, Karen. You lose that game Sunday or Saturday, whatever day it is, you're done, Karen. You're done. Go home. You're too old. Let go. It's over. Go and get. Worried about us, Karen? Come on now. When we played you, we weren't as good as we are now, young punk. And we still beat you. Dog, if things go right, Karen, we may be resting our starters because you can lock it up against the Chicago Bears if things go right, Karen. So, yeah, you may get a win because Sudfeld might be at quarterback. Karen, young punk, get up out of here, dog. Go jump off a waterfall with your ex-girlfriend. Ain't no one care about this, dude. Hashtag FGB. All this guy does is talk. And that's why nobody likes him. That's why he's disliked, because he talks. He's got a big mouth. Holy God. T-Bag. If he's still alive, should he have kept him in the corner? Actually, that's interesting that you bring this up, T-Bag him. Very interesting they bring it up because he may be playing there out safety with Deshaun Elliott out. We're going to be seeing him potentially out there on Saturday. I really want to see that. He is a hard hitter, and I want to see that. So I'm with you, T-Bag him. I like to keep him at corner, but at the same time, we do need help at safety right now. We do need help safety. Let's see. Do you think the Lions should re-sign DJ Chark? I still want to watch him in the last 3 games. I still want to see he can do. I wanted to get a full, 17-game assessment of him, and ever since he came back, I wanted to really look at him. So ask me in 3 weeks, but right now it's trending towards that, but at the same time, it's going to cost a lot of money. Remember, he's the highest free agent we paid this last year is $10 million a year for a 1-year deal, so it's going to be more than that. So if you're going to pay this guy money, I want to see more numbers in the last 3 weeks. So undetermined at this point. Yeah, it's me, Matt. Running backs are very important, but also an investment. Who are we keeping, Jamal or DeAndre? I think they're both going to be here. DeAndre Swift is not going to be much. He's still on his rookie deal. Remember, he's a second-round pick. Jamal Williams, his contract does end. I suspect they'll probably re-sign him. It's not going to be much. I mean, first off, running backs don't cost much, and it's not like this guy is Saquon Barkley. And so I think we could have both, and they could have a situation where they draft a guy too as well and let somebody go like a Justin Jackson or Jamar Jefferson, who's still been on the practice squad forever. Too early to jet sweep with J-Mo? It's not too early, and I'd like to see it, Maloney. And I was talking with Herm. I don't know if the video was released yet, but we talk about that. We would like to see that. We like to see him utilized in other parts of this offense instead of just going down range for Hail Mary pass. I'd like to see him in a jet sweep. I'd like to see him in crossing routes. I'd like to see his route tree. Remember, a lot of people understand his speed, but he has an elite route tree. That's what he's really good in space. He's really good at running his routes. He's really good at all parts of the field, not just long distance. So, yes, I'd like to see some jet sweeps in there, 100%. What if Tracy Walker returns in the postseason? I know it's unlikely. I don't think it's happening. I thought it already got overtime. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but I thought he was already like he's not coming back. But I mean, that would be great, but I don't think he's coming back. I think it was already confirmed. I could be wrong. Don't kill me. Don't kill the messenger. Do you think potentially in Week 18 Seattle could let the LA Rams win to help the Broncos draft pick? I don't. I think Seattle will try to win regardless. No players try to tank. No coaches or players try to do that. That's not something that they do. And, GMs may try to do it, but the players ain't going to do it. Mike, wouldn't you agree that for this season, Jared Goff is better than yeah. Hell yeah, he's better than Karen Rodgers right now. Karen's looking like butt cheeks. And if you watch that game, you expect Karen to come out and be as lead as he always is, but he's just not. He lost a step. 39-year-old Karen. That's what he is. He's lost a step. I was talking to TA behind the scenes, and I'm like, he's not the same Karen we're used to. He's just not. And it's hashtag facts. I got a tweet here. Love it. Lions, do you think the Lions will use more of J-Mo in this game? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yep, torn Achilles, not coming back. Let's see. That's what I was pretty sure of. Not the same old Lions. Do you think this season will breed long-term leaders for the franchise? I think it already has a lot of long-term leaders for this franchise, and that's what happens when you have players, coaches developing. And you got Joshua Pascal is a leader of men, and he's a young guy, and you're seeing it right now with all. Michael Brockers, he's not playing, but he is a leader, so he's helping breed leaders. You have, obviously, Thor, Holden Mjolnir there, and Alex Anzalone helping out. And that's what you have it across this team, is they're slowly breeding it. And that's what's good. That's what you want to see. Obviously, the offensive line, you got Taylor Decker, he's a leader. Jared Goff, he's a leader. He's not the most vocal leader in the world, but he is one. Jamal Williams, clearly a leader. You're having this go on right now. Do you like rolling with Jared Goff, and what do you think about taking Anthony Richardson from Florida to develop under Goff next year? It depends where he falls. I don't think the Lions are going to be taking a quarterback in the first round. He injured himself, so there's a good chance this dude falls like the third round. Ant-Man is in the building. Finally. What is up, Ant-Man?
Hey, Mike. How's things?
Oh, good. What are you doing, man? What's up, man?
So I'm a little late. We've just had a guest on our show doing a Carolina Panthers preview, and end up he's just been having a really long chat about it because he does all the HBCU college stuff. I know nothing about it, so I've just been chatting with him about that, and then I suddenly realized the time. So I apologize, but I'm here now. So
no apologies, man. Ant-Man, make sure you subscribe to Roar Lines UK. That's where Ant-Man is. Got a great show. They're live. They do college prospects. Absolutely fantastic. One of the best out there in the game. Hashtag no doubt about it. Oops, I just accidentally did something there. Let's get this one up. All right, we got 277 in the building. Smash that like button if you've not done so. Let's get to 100 likes. We're 99 right there. So, Ant-Man, question for you. what fears the most in you about the Carolina Panthers Detroit Lions game Saturday on their team?
See, my fear is they're a much better team than their record indicates. I said at the start of the season, I think coaching has really held that team back, and Matt Rule was useless there. He didn't do a great deal, but you remember the draft from a couple of years ago, they went all defense. You're starting to see guys, your Derek Browns, you're starting to see your Brian Burns come through and really, perform incredibly well. I mean, that Pittsburgh game last week, they had a full quarter less possession than the Steelers did, like nearly 15 minutes. And that defense still kept it a one-score game and down to 24 points. It's incredibly talented. It's got a good front seven. It's got really good linebackers. I mean, they're getting C.J. Henderson back. So it's like the Jets defense last week. There's no visible weak spot for you to attack. And I think, it's got good depth there. So that's your first problem. And then I think on offense, you've got good players. I know the quarterback issue is there and obviously holds the team back a lot, but the offensive line's got good guys on there. You've got really good receivers. I love the running back room. I watched Blackshear and I watched the other one, the backup running, Chuba Hubbard, a lot in college. And Hubbard, especially against the Seahawks, was very good. So if they get the run game going, then we're in a bit of bother, because they can be a really good team and that defense can stop you from scoring. So that's what worries me, is it's better than the record suggests. And I think they're like the Lions in a way that the players are bought into the coach. Wilkes commands a lot of respect in that room, and I think they're playing very hard and very fast for him, which is what our guys do with Campbell. So you're coming up against a team who's going to kick your ass just as much as you're going to kick theirs, and you've got playmakers on it to take advantage of the situation. So that's what concerns me about this team this week. I think it's better than that record says it is.
With that said, what is your score prediction for this game and why?
With that said, I think the Detroit Lions are going to win this game. I think it's going to be low scoring. I don't see either team breaking 20 points. I think I just said 17-14 on our stream. And the reason why is because, the inclement weather is going to be an issue this week. So I think this is going to be a run-first game, maybe run a lot. But what Brad Holmes has done over these 2 years he's been here, he's invested heavily in the trenches, and we have healthy trenches now. The defensive line is looking a lot better. And if you saw what the Steelers did to them the other week, it was they shut down the run game. 21 yards on 16 carries, completely obliterated the run game, and put Sam Darnold in situations, 3rd and long, where he's got to run the ball, and you send in the cavalry to take him down. And I think the way we've been defending against the run recently, against Dalvin Cook, Travis Etienne, Saquon Barkley, all these top runners who've had very little success against us, I think we can put them in the same situation where we stop that offense from scoring points. And then flip side, I think the offensive line, you've got Matt Nelson back as your 6th lineman, so you've got more packages for running the ball. I think that we can do enough to break that defensive line, get the drives going, get time of possession on the clock, and score enough points to win it. And I just think, I don't know about you, Mike, but something feels different about this Lions team. I think they genuinely have belief that they can get to the playoffs, but at the same time, they're not getting, they're not believing too much in themselves. They're not getting complacent. I think they realize that every game is a slugfest. They've got to come ready for a war, but I think they have the belief that they can do it. They have beaten teams down badly. They have eked out wins in hard pressure situations like last week. And I genuinely think that belief and that confidence they have will just be the deciding factor in this one, and we will win it very narrowly.
$20 super chat from my guy, Mike McCall. Huge shout out to you. Thank you so much for that super chat. You get a I love Killer Instinct, one of my favorite games here. Thank you so much. We'll answer this question for you, Mike. He says, can both of you give us your hidden gem in next year's draft? Hidden gem. Ooh, we'll start with you. You're the draft.
No, you go. You go first. I'm just racking my brain at this moment in time. Where the hell?
Hidden gem in this year's draft. Well, oof. There's quite a bit of players here that I think could be hidden gems, 100%. Let me think.
Right, okay, no, I've got one for you.
Okay, go ahead.
So for me, the guy who's not getting talked about, he's a wide receiver, he's from BYU, and I may have mentioned him to you before, but Puka Nacua, who is there, he is an outside ex-wide receiver who gets no chat whatsoever, but he is the outside version of Amon-Ra St. Brown. We need an ex-receiver in the next draft. He is not getting talked about anywhere near enough. Go and watch his tape at BYU. They're very run-heavy, so he does a lot of the run blocking. He's very physical, but Jaron Hall's a very good quarterback who needs someone to air it out to on those sidelines. And, you know, I'm massive on Puka Nacua. So he's like the wide receiver X that I want in this draft coming forward. And I think you'll not be hearing his name till maybe early day 3, late day 2. So he's my hidden gem.
I'll go with a hidden gem here for me. I had to reach because I'm not talking about first, second round. This is more of a day 3. How about a guy you could put behind Jared Goff? TCU quarterback Max Duggan. How about him? I like what he brings out there. This guy is ferocious. He did declare for the draft. He had, I think it was around 3,500 yards passing, 30 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. So, and he's a gamer guy. I think you can get him in the late rounds, and he could be a guy you developed behind Jared Goff. I liked what I saw because when I was watching the TCU game and they lost, I was watching him. The guy was just fighting every single down, taking hits. He lost, and he was tearing up, man. He was really upset he didn't win that game. So how about him for a backup guy? I think that could be an interesting one. Maybe you guys haven't heard of him. Check him out, though. He will be, obviously, if you're a Michigan fan, that's who we're facing. Well, that's who Michigan's facing.
You'll see him in the playoff. You'll see him in the playoffs. So yeah, I agree. But he's a dual threat guy as well.
Yep,
so
he's a dual threat mobile quarterback. Yep.
Yeah.
$9.99 super chat from Blue Karma. He gets a
Ultra Combo!
and what is it? My guy says nothing on this one, but I'm going to go with the next comment. He says, the excitement I feel right now is rising. I'm with you. I'm super excited. I love what I'm seeing. I think it's fantastic watching this team go in the right direction. Do you agree with me there, Ant-Man, that this team is heading in the right direction like Blue Karma?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even if this season doesn't end in playoffs, what you've seen from 1-6 to turn it round to 6-1, that's the winning mentality that you need. We talked last year about implementing the culture, about just seeing the work ethic, seeing the young players develop, and they achieved all that. Year 2 was about seeing whether you could start implementing that winning culture, whether you could convince your young guys that they can win games of football, and you see that progression forward. And this last 7 games has shown, yes, 6 of 7. I mean, when was the last time we won 6 out of 7 games? All with our youngsters, all with injuries. You know, we've only had just players just coming back. So for me, I've seen just about everything I need to in terms of like the mentality and, you know, how the players are playing and the way they're playing this year to deem it a success, even if we don't make the playoffs. Obviously, I want us to, but this team is heading in the right direction, man. You think one more off-season, one more draft, bit of free agency money to spend this year. I mean, we're gonna be a real threat next year. We're already a real threat, but you know we are going in the right direction, absolutely.
I am literally 20 subscribers away from 30,600. So if you ain't subscribed, and right now we got 300 in the building, smash that subscribe button. Let's get to 30,600. I'd like to get it before the game on Saturday. That would be epic, epic, cool. Let's continue on here. See, what do you think about taking Myles Murphy if Carter isn't there? That's who probably my guy is. If Will Anderson, Jalen Carter's not there, my next guy would be Myles Murphy. Who would you take, Ant-Man, if Jalen and Will Anderson is gone?
I'd probably take Myles. I mean, that Clemson D-line's just been a monster for years. Even when they had a rubbish offense last year, it was one of the best defenses in the country. I'd take him, absolutely. I'd take him over Breesy for sure.
Yeah, he'd be my next prospect. I still wish we could get Jalen. I really, really do. I think Jalen Carter, Ant-Man, would make this defense scary as hell it would be absolutely bonkers.
It's tough because the only trouble with these 6 wins in 7, you start to get really connected to the players already here. I mean, Kamish is here. I don't want to see Kamish lose snaps because of how great he's played this year. And if you bring Jalen Carter in, you're playing him next to Aidan, that pretty much eliminates. I know he's in the rotation, but it eliminates his starting job, and it's tough. But you've got to keep upgrading, I guess. So I wouldn't trade up for Jalen. I would not be trading up for anyone. I think this class is defense rich. There's no offensive talent at the top of it whatsoever, right in those top 5 picks, really. But outside of that, apart from Bryce Young, but outside of that, it's all defensive guys, and we should get one of them. The Rams suck, and they're going to carry on losing games.
That big game, though, on this weekend is Rams and Broncos.
Yeah,
you really got to hope that the Broncos can pull out a W.
5.
Because they're right there. I think picking 3rd is Denver, and the Rams is picking 4. So if the Rams were to win that game, we go up to 3, and if the Bears win a game, we go up to 2. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, but we really – and I know a lot of fans, I don't care about the draft. I don't care. No, I think for that Rams pick, we really got to root for the teams to let's get the best player. Wouldn't you like to have an Ndamukong Suh on this line? I think that's what Jalen Carter brings. I love Brian Breezy. I see that in the comment section. I do. I like him. I like Jalen Carter above him, though. Like, I think there's Jalen Carter, Will Anderson, and it kind of falls a little bit. Miles Murphy, you got your Brian Breezy, you got your Keelan Ringos, you got Joey Porter Jr.'s, but there's those 2 guys, and I just have Jalen as my number 1. I just wouldn't that just be amazing? Or if you got a Will Anderson.
This is more this is more controversial, but if we are picking between 5 and 10 and those top ones are gone, I'd rather have 2 picks in the 20s than that 5 to 10 pick. I think I would rather that, given the talent, because I think that 5 to 10 range, you're starting, I'm just not seeing what I want there. Whereas I can go to 20 and 22, I can get Noah Sewell and Devin Witherspoon or something like that. It doesn't have to be Noah Sewell, but I can get myself 2 really good guys with values in the 20. I'd sooner do that, but hey-ho.
When I look at this draft, I see 3 bona fide blue chippers. Okay, there's 3 studs. There's 3 guys that's game changers. Absolutely, like right off rip, defensive player of the year type of candidates. And then it drops off a little bit. Then you got your Miles Murphy in there, who I would take my next. But then it's like everything kind of comes together. So like you were saying, you wouldn't mind trading back. I have no problem with that. I would have no problem with that. If you can't get one of these blue chippers and Miles Murphy is gone, there's no problem with trading back a little bit and acquire a first-round pick next year, and you move back 10 spots. I think that would be an option for the Lions to do. I wouldn't have a problem with that. Really, really want it here. Rest in peace, Franco Harris and Ronnie Hillman. Absolutely rest in peace. They talked about them a lot today. Mm-hmm. Need a blue chip player in all types. I agree with you 100%. Anthony, hit up the giddy. What's up, Mark? Emmett?
I could never do the gritty. I'm not a gritty guy.
Would you go online in the first round? I don't see anyone that's a blue chip offensive lineman. I don't see it. I think this is pretty. There's some decent ones, but I'm fine with what we got. They're not better than what we have. So no, I'm not going to do it.
It's barren. I mean, your top tackles, Skoronsky. He's not better than what we've got. Yeah. You wouldn't be letting Taylor Decker go for Skoronsky, and then the only exception would be Osiris Torrance, maybe, and that depends how high we're picking. I'd rather that be in the late 20s if you trade back. Osiris Torrance is the only guy I'd do it for. No one else.
Raiders fan 32, welcome to the chat, my man. Rams remaining schedule. That's the Denver is the one. Los Angeles Chargers and Seattle. I'm not worried about the last 2, but that freaking Denver one, that scares me. They have to lose that game. Don't be surprised if Miles Murphy ends up being a better pro than Will Anderson. That's an interesting comment. We've seen it multiple times.
I think they're all good. I think they're all great players. I do agree that I think they need to land in the right scheme fit. You've seen how big
true.
it is for some players. Scheme fit is huge, so I think they need to land in the right situation.
Yeah, I agree with Dr. Detroit. If you can find offensive linemen, you can find them in the second to third rounds because we're talking about a guard. It'd probably be for the Big V spot if they don't bring Big V back. That's who you're looking at because that's where Hole has been, is basically that spot.
Yeah.
So if you're wanting to get an offensive lineman, it would be a guard in the second to third round. I'd probably say third round. I think that they'd still, we got holes at defensive line, linebacker, corner, and maybe they go another edge. I think that's a possibility.
I think you just need to find the right guy. I mean, Jonah Jackson was the right guy. He was a third-round guy.
Yeah, he's
there may have been better ones than him in front, but you need to find the right fit for you. So you want someone who's predominantly better in the run game, but is still pretty good at pass, but run comes first and foremost.
Lions Mania is Jalen Carter consensus pick. If he's available, he has to be. That's me. I think it's a no-brainer. If you're sitting there and he's available, I think that's the easy. That's the Penei Sewell pick. It's like, yeah, I know what we're doing here. That's the Aidan Hutchinson pick. Yeah, I kind of know what we're doing here. I think but he's a better prospect than if Jalen Carter came out this last draft, he'd have been the first pick in the draft. That's how good.
Would you pick him if everyone was on the table and available? Yeah. Would you pick him first?
He's the first pick in the. You'd be a consensus 32 club saying he's the first pick in the draft. That dude's a monster. You're about to find out here. You watch this dude, you're like, oh my god. It's like,
yeah.
Oh my god.
Mike, is Jalen Carter? Oh, oops, I just said that one there. Let's see. How do you see the Lions rating the Panthers beating the Jets? That was a struggle. How do you see the Lions rate? I see them defeating the Panthers a little bit easier. That Jets game gave a little bit of a heart attack to people at the end. I think it's going to be less of a heart attack. I do.
It's tough, though, when you're on the road against a really good defense. You've kind of got to give them credit as well because they stopped us running the ball pretty well. The coverage was really good, but we knew that already. So, the fact that we found a way to win, I think is a positive rather than it being a negative or been sluggish. And it's the same this week. You're coming up against a really good defense, and you may struggle. This isn't going to be a game where you'll just drop 40 easy on them. If you only score 20 in this and you eke out another win, that is a really good result, and I have no concerns about the offense whatsoever. It's just the situation you're in. And plus, you've got the weather factor in this week as well, which is not going to help us at all.
Yes, the game's on Fox. The game is on Fox, 1 p.m. You already know the time, 1 p.m. For sure, that's every single game. At that time. Ant-Man, what do you got to say to the folks? Tell them about your channel.
So yeah, I know a few guys have been in already, but you can find us on Roar of the Lions UK. We go live on Mondays, reviewing the games from Sunday. Then me and one of the other guys do a college football podcast on Wednesdays. If you want to come check that out, we keep an eye on the league during the season. We keep an eye on prospects. We do reviews, all those sorts of things. And then on Thursdays, just before Mike's show, we do our preview shows for the weekend coming up as well. So if you want to get an alternate take on things Lions from guys across the ocean, then come give us a follow. We're not as good as Mike, nowhere near as good as Mike, but no one is. But we try our best. No, Mike is the gold standard. This, so
I'm the bronze standard. You guys are the gold standard. You guys are killing it. You guys are the MVPs, man. Definitely.
He says as he's coming up on 30,600 subs. Which, if you haven't subbed to Mike's channel, please do.
Sub to my guy Ant-Man's channel. We want to get him to 1,000 subscribers. 1,000. Got to get him
We're
there,
getting
folks.
There, thanks to you. And Grandizer and all those, so thank you. We appreciate it. But,
that's what it's all about, folks.
I just love talking Lions ball with everybody, so.
Check out the heavyweights. Check them out on our guys, our friends of Woodward Sports over there. We'll be talking about that here in a little bit. Hopefully get you some good news on there. My friends over there from Woodward Sports, check them out. And, with that said, folks, adios.
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory, yeah. Don't don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah.